We play and call it work.
Hey everyone! Round two. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back. So I'm going to give you the whole intro again. Welcome. This is Sit and Talk Live with Luka here from MiniWarGaming, where I will be sitting here and answering questions from you, the live viewers, and in combination with people who left comments at MiniWarGaming.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube after we've uploaded it and you weren't able to catch it live, you too can ask questions. It'll be Matthew next week. So if you have any questions for Matthew, the owner of MiniWarGaming.com, go to MiniWarGaming.com where this video is. If you don't know, you just go to that and it'll be on the playlist right away. And you answer, it'll be for this video, sorry, where I sit and talk with Luka, where you can ask Matthew questions. It'll be, hey Matthew, I am curious about this, or what do you think about this? That's all you have to do. And he'll answer those questions in combination with questions that I'll be answering here live. And if you want to ask me a question live, kind of follow what other people are doing, but the command is !ask space your question. And it'll pop up on this program I have lined up here, and I can go through them in order and keep it all nice and organized. I'm going to try and keep it at a good pace. I'll try not to ramble so I can get to everybody's questions. I don't have a whole lot on the website, so I'll probably be relying mostly on the program here. But I guess without further ado, I'll get right into it. And obviously I want to remind you all that if you enjoy us live streaming, give us a sub. It helps us out a lot, and it kind of gets us down the road to where we can like branch out into other live streaming things and make this a reality for MiniWarGaming. And if you have Amazon Prime, it gives you a free Twitch sub every month. Now the pain there is you have to renew it every month, but if you're not aware of that, that's something you can do with your Amazon Prime. Just give your favorite I guess any sub or any streamer your Twitch Prime sub. I'll go with the first question here is from GeoFits4. He asks, hello Luka, are you or anyone else in the office interested in playing Star Citizen? Do you play Star Citizen, Cullen? Do you know what Star Citizen is?
What is a Star Citizen?
It's a video.
Other than me. I mean, I am a Star Citizen.
You're a Star Citizen.
I disagree with that.
I don't think anyone in the office plays Star Citizen. Star Citizen, if you're not familiar with it, is a video game for the PC that came out 6 months ago. It was an ambitious plan. It was supposed to be Minecraft first person, like high-end graphics, but you literally travel the stars, and there's, I don't know what the count was, but I think it was in the millions, maybe more, for randomly generated planets that you could land on and stuff like that.
Is that the one that has all like the memes with the really goofy looking like dinosaurs and things?
Yeah, because it was randomly generated creatures and stuff like that. Yes, that is it. And I think the concept was it was supposed to be online all the time. Obviously, you can play offline, but the galaxy was so vast that the likelihood of meeting another player was very slim. I think that information there is correct. I never played that. My one friend Desmond was very interested in playing that, and he tried just to get interested. But I had this one adventure in Minecraft with my friends where my creative ideas were always just knocked down and put to the ground. I once had a glorious, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I had a glorious house built on a single stilt that went to the sky's limit. And apparently it was an eyesore, and a certain person took buckets of lava and burnt it to the ground. I was then done.
That sounds awful, man.
I was done with those kind of video games.
My biggest Minecraft achievement back in the day was me and my friends, we had a big server. Well, not a big server, but we had our own. There was like 12 of us probably, and everybody had their own thing. So, and there was no cheating or no cheats involved or anything like that.
Keep it natural.
So a friend and I made the entire Tower of Sauron.
Oh, Barad-dûr?
With all obsidian.
That must have taken forever.
I spent, because I wasn't a big fan of trying to construct it.
Right.
But
you liked harvesting the obsidian.
I would just grind obsidian, so I'd go down with like 2 buckets of water and just like pour a bunch of water and just make obsidian and just mine it.
Right.
And just went so hard at mining obsidian.
How long did it take?
I don't know. We spent at least 2 weeks. I like, it was just him building and me doing that, because like, and it was really funny because if you just place a block in the wrong place, it was just awful to try to redo it. because you just placed a block of obsidian, so you'd have to break it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we built the entire Eye of Sauron out of lava and glass.
Oh, that's cool. I never even
Yeah.
thought about that. I was never very intricate when it came to Minecraft. I didn't know a lot. I always had to ask questions. How do I build that? How do I build this? So that like my house, and it wasn't an intricate house. It wasn't a beautiful house. It was literally I think like 6x6 cube on a single stilt in the sky. So it got burnt to the ground. Oh, because I remember I had a lava waterfall from it going down into the ground, and then that got burnt to the ground. And I stopped playing Minecraft after that. I wasn't that interested to begin with.
So apparently you're talking about No Man's Sky.
Oh, that is No Man's Sky. That's what it is. Star Citizen is something completely different. Also a very ambitious project. It has been in production forever. So Star Citizen, I do remember. I do remember. So, okay, this is also a game that Desmond wanted to get me in on. Star Citizen. You're going to move something?
I got to move a light.
That's fine.
So,
Star Citizen was...
Hopefully I don't enter frame.
I think it's still in production. I know they needed a very large Kickstarter, and it seems like a really cool project. It's got a lot of elements from other spacefaring games that you're familiar with, EVE Online. Maybe not in the whole corporate kind of part of it, but when it comes to gigantic ships, ship-on-ship combat, and just like clans and that whole focus, yes, it's a very ambitious and interesting-looking project. When it comes out, I don't think it's out. I could be horribly wrong. But yes, that would be something I would definitely look into. But no one else here, as far as I know, is interested in that when it comes to The Office. But yeah, I kind of got off track there with the Minecraft.
Minecraft's cool, man.
Oh, I know. It's an easy game to get lost in. The next question is from Rainbowed. What? Cullen's twitching in the corner. What is wrong?
I just tried to test the when I plug in the soundboard, it defaults the speakers to the soundboard, which doesn't have any speakers because it's fantastic.
Okay.
So instead of hitting set as default, they hit test. So it sent an extremely loud, ear-piercing like dial tone into my ears.
I thought I heard that, but I thought it was something on your computer. So that must have been deafening.
That was me going deaf.
So the next question is from Rainbowed. Luka, what is Kellen's best feature? What is his worst? So I seen this one earlier. I thought it was funny. I can think of a couple things right off the top of my head. So his best feature, things that I think his best feature is I find it hilarious. But he can't deal with socially awkward situations that are surrounding him. At least from what I've noticed, he kind of does this. He makes this noise, and he just.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, test.
Is this it? Someone said, hey.
Let me know.
Clicking. Someone says, sounds.
Sound. All right.
All right, I have no idea what this problem was.
But it fixed.
Everyone's saying we're back again.
Okay.
I'm terribly sorry, everyone. I'm not sure what... the last one was totally my fault. This one...
is an actual true technical difficulty.
I don't know what happened.
The soundboard just... bleh.
Everyone's telling me not to touch anything, and I will not touch anything.
The soundboard flatlined, I think.
Yeah, like it was just sending out dead feedback, and my headphones were plugged in, and I could hear it fine, but its output to the USB... Something went wrong.
It's okay. So I'll go back to Rainbowed again. I don't know if you've heard this for the third time. I apologize. We can't actually tell what you've heard and what you haven't heard. What is Cullen's best feature and what is his worst feature? This one's gonna be short and cut down, but again, I apologize. When he deals with any social interaction that he can't handle, he just kind of moans. And
Okay, I don't
away.
moan.
It's like it's a very disgruntled moan, and you lean away, and you just hopefully that solves your issues. That's a moan. It's a groan, and then he leans away. And then I was gonna say that's his worst feature as well, but he reminded me that he's a very salty gamer when it comes to games of any sort, tabletop war games, board games, video games, you name it. He gets salty. On camera, he might seem fine, but I assure you, it's all an illusion.
Hey,
It's awful off camera.
It's not that. Okay.
I'm making him sound like a monster. He's not that
I was
bad.
gonna say.
I
I just have my days of extra salt.
Fantasy was some of the most entertaining things because Cullen and I rarely played fantasy together, but I often watched him play fantasy, and oh boy, was that amusing. On to the next question, though. This one is by Army1917. Playing games is fun, yes, but when is it your job? But when it's your job, does it ever get old? And what do you do to keep things fresh? I would say at the worst of times for me, when it comes to the job, it's one of those, I just don't feel like waking up in the morning. I'm like, that's when it feels like work. But the second I'm in my car listening to my audiobook, that feels like me time. That feels like a pretty relaxing kind of thing. And the second I get to work, just kind of like seeing the familiar faces. We're all friends, so it's kind of just like hanging out with your friends. Certainly there are some days where I have to play 40K. I'm like, I'd rather play Age of Sigmar, or I'd rather play like Lord of the Rings or something else I'm working on. 30K. I always feel like playing 30K. The second I have my army set up on the board and we're ready to play the game, now it's a game. Now we're back on track. It's at that moment, like from the moment I wake up to when I get in my car, it feels like work. But from there, it's a nice relaxing day. Never really stressful, and it's pretty good pace. I mean, I'm quite thankful I have it. And it's only felt like work in those moments. But what do I do to keep things fresh? The work itself does a good job of doing that. Matthew's always got new ideas, like this D&D thing we're doing. That keeps it fresh. We do that once a week. This live streaming keeps it fresh. I like the live interaction with the viewers. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. That helps keep it fresh. That's pretty much it. Everyone here is always working on new projects. Me personally, right now, I am just about done my Isengard for Lord of the Rings. I don't think I'm going to do Mordor. I bought the Ring Wraiths or Barad-dûr. I have Sauron and I have all the Ring Wraiths for those two separate armies, but I don't really feel like repainting all my orcs. Maybe I'll just get those commissioned done one day. But I'm currently excited for my next project after Isengard. It's going to be 30K Space Wolves, which I'll also be using in 40K. And I've got a lot of the actual Grey Slayers on sprue ready to go. I'm going to go to like some third party and get some bits for like Space Wolf bits that I like, because I plan on doing some conversions here and there to make them look more Space Wolfy. Not the Grey Slayers, but some of the other stuff I'm buying. So you'll get more information on that when I actually start working on it more. But I've got some of the bits ready to go.
Okay, before we get there,
yes,
I want to shout out some of the people who have subscribed to us. Now, there were ones that fell farther back in the chat that I don't know if I can get to anymore, unfortunately, because of the amount of spamming of chat of technical difficulties. Again, my fault, and I will take full thing for that. But so we have Unpure for his Twitch Prime, 2nd month. Sit in charades with Mr. the Dice.
Thank you, yes.
Classic. And Neofid, Tier 1 sub. Thank you guys so much for your subscriptions. And again, thank you to anybody who's subscribed before all of our technical difficulties. Because I definitely saw like 3 or 4, but was scrambling to get it all to work.
We apologize for that, but everything seems to be good now.
Maybe it's on here, possibly? No.
Oh, I'll go to the website. I'll do a question from the website next. Am I good for another question?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't pull those people back. So we appreciate you guys a lot for your subs, but unfortunately, we cannot personally give you shout-outs because they're gone. Because of my fault.
I still love you, though.
It's all my fault.
Know that I still love you. The next question, this is on MiniWarGaming.com. And again, if you're on YouTube watching this right now and you can't give live questions, just go to MiniWarGaming.com on this video. Just leave a question for Matthew down below, and he'll read those and get to those. This one is from Cerberus, spelled with 3s. Hi, Luka. I have 2 Death Guard questions. Okay. What made you change your 3-pronged, the 3-pronged attack with bloat drones out front, and then Demon Prince and Terminators coming up from behind, and then the like the Plague Marines coming up at the end? That's what I did a lot when the Death Guard Codex first came out, when I was playing it a lot. Simply, I just played it a lot. That's my answer. I played it probably like 10 games, and it was really consistent. It was really good. But I mean, when you play as much 40K as we tend to do here, you want to always change it up. And then I ended up buying a lot more of my own things, and I got a lot of Terminators. And I've been in love with Terminators since I was a kid. And at least the Death Guard Terminators are a little bit better than the generic Terminators, but Terminators in general are just poo. Very easy for any even slightly experienced player to play around. So I just kind of played that. I played Terminators for a bit. My list was literally half of my army is Terminators and Deep Strike Reserve, and then the other stuff was just kind of holding the ground. And it wasn't that great, but it was fun for me to play, so I kind of just went in that route. But I'm starting to throw some Death Guard battle reports now, where I am playing a more competitive, a little bit more effective Death Guard list. So if you appreciate those, you'll be seeing those coming out in the future as well, where I run like Plague Burst Crawlers in the back lines, and Bloat Drones out in the front lines, and Demon Princes and Plague Marines and all the good stuff. The second part of that question, though, is do you think the point reduction across aboard on a lot of the armies and models has benefited bringing Terminators again, or do you still see them as overpriced points-wise? Yes, of course. So you got to consider the fact that not everything got point reductions, but enough things got point reductions that made the point reductions that things got pointless. Things are cheaper, but so is everything else, so it's just as bad. Things got more point reductions than other things, if you know what I mean. But sure, Terminators went down a lot of points, but so did like everything else. So a Terminator is just as effective as it was before. It's still, the problem with Terminators right now is there's no niche for them, right? Like, when you think about what role does a Terminator fill, in my mind, a Terminator is supposed to be that thing that it's a frontline fighter, and it's not supposed, it can do a lot of damage naturally, but it's supposed to soak up damage. It's supposed to be that thing that your opponent wastes a lot of small arms fire trying to take out. But the problem is, small arms fire is really effective at killing them, as it always has been. It should be at the point where like a bolter will never kill a Terminator, right? That's where you want a Terminator to be at. And you want something like a plasma gun would be very unlikely to kill a Terminator, and a melta-gun very unlikely to kill a Terminator. That's just not the case. There's nothing they can really do to balance. There's things they could do to balance that, but maybe it'd be too much and people will complain. But they're supposed to be frontline, taking all the hits, not going down. They're the spear tip of an assault. They drop in, and then your opponent can never deal with them. They have to play around them and let them wreak havoc as they do. But currently, they don't do a lot of damage, and they kind of fall over as easily as a Tactical Marine does. Granted, they have twice the amount of wounds a Tactical Marine does, but they're not really worth it, and they're slower too. So even if you choose to deep strike them onto like faraway territory, or far off on the table edges, they're never going to get to, say they win that area, they'll never be able to have an impact on the rest of the game. Now, one cool thing you can do with them is if you're like Loyalist or Chaos, you can build your Terminators with heavy weapons and combi bolters and storm bolters just to shoot. You just say there's an objective in cover. You can deep strike your Terminators in cover and hold that objective maybe for the rest of the game if you want to rely on the cover. But things like Plasma, Supercharge is going to take them off the table right away, because even with a 1-up save, you're still dead on a 1-to-3 instead of a 4-up. So they're not that great. But are they still fun to use? For me, yes. Like I said, when I think of Space Marines, I think of Terminators. There was a big draw for me when I was a kid. The next question on Chatbot is from Jawedel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It is Jaw, E-D-E-L.
Jawweedle. He's a Weedle with a jaw.
Yeah, but it's like, there's not two Jawweedle, I guess.
I don't know, I'm just imagining the Weedle Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's not with, it's only one E, not two.
Weddle?
And it's like Weddell, yeah. Sorry, I'm bad at names. Will MiniWarGaming do more Necromunda? The problem is, if a lot of, there has to be a group kind of strong interest for it for any of us to really want to do it. I want to say we'd actually maybe dabble in Necromunda when everything is fully released and it's like a full complete game with new ideas coming up, because we want to see all of the houses released. And like I personally, and so would Josh, you'd want to see some of the older houses released, like Scryer. That's not Scryer. The Spire guys. I think it's Spire.
I think it's Spire.
Yeah, and then you have like your the Muties, and I can't remember all the other ones. It's been a long time since I've looked at them, but like all of those like kind of expansion factions coming out as well, and then maybe you'd see more Necromunda from us at least. There needs to be a spark of interest, and I think everyone's too focused on other things. The next question is going to be from Kefinas, maybe. Love the new Deathwatch campaign, thank you. But question is, when are we going to be able to get the updated rules for it, for you to play at home? Currently, I think the latest rules were, you could use, I can't remember what it was. So Deathwatch Tyrus was the last one I played in before GMing, and I think that was the last Deathwatch campaign. Those ones have some of the updated rules pertaining to Tyrus. What I can do is I can kind of pester Matt to update the rules and put them online, because I'm currently using modified rules of Deathwatch. I hate myself, I can't remember. The one before Tyrus, because that's the one I played in with Theo. That's where Theo got popular, because I think I did 2 in a row. But I'm using the rules currently for that one slightly modified. So they're not super new, but I slightly changed up like the Blood Angel trait, because the Blood Angels got a codex since then. But I'm almost exclusively using those rules still, with a few changes here and there. I can harass Matthew to update the rules though. I can do that for you at least. The next question is from Silver Draconian. Hello, Luka. Now that you got a taste of dungeon mastering a game with the Deathwatch series, would you do it more often? Oh, I actually need a timestamp on this one because it's a little too long. I forgot to remind people that chatbot only has a certain character limitation, so try and keep your characters or your questions a little bit. It's 1407, and this one's by Silver Draconian. Try and keep them.
It goes too far.
That one goes too far there too.
Like it's 1407.
Yeah.
I only have 215, unfortunately.
I think I can see where this question's going.
Honestly, if you look in the bottom, I see where there's that bar across the bottom.
Oh, I see it. It goes longer. Oh, thank you.
It gets a little bit long, but I don't know how to make that box bigger, unfortunately. That's the thing.
Okay, so actually I was able to do that. So try and keep your questions a little bit shorter if you can, but actually this one, because I can see it, it's full. This one's by Silver Draconian again. Would I do it more often, and would you like to make your story yourself? So I did end up doing the Hornheim fantasy end time story, kind of a shout out to the end of our fantasy coverage with Steve. That was a lot of like just quirky fun between both of us. We were kind of making the scenarios together, and we followed the end time storyline. Matthew had asked me to do some narrative campaigns after that and like make up stories. I wrote a few stories and then I put them forward, and we were going to go ahead with a couple of them, but we just got too busy doing other things, so they kind of got scrapped, which is no big deal. It's not like I put a whole lot of work into them. They were just like little pilots. And as it is now, yes, I would keep doing them. They're pretty fun. Would I do them all the time? I like anything else. If you do them too much, you'll get burnt out and want to do something else. So doing a narrative campaign once in a while would be fun. And if you're enjoying it, then all the more reason for me to keep doing them. Because if you're enjoying them, then I'm going to have fun doing them as well. If you're not liking them, then I'm doing something wrong. So please, I'll accept any criticism of any type on that. Would I make my own story? Yeah, sure, I'd try my hands at it, but we have a professional, an aspiring writer, Miles Drake, if you want to check out his work. He's got published work on Black Library right now. He writes a lot of our narrative campaigns right now, and he's quick, and he is effective, and he is good. So saves me a lot of time if he's doing it. And he is, like I said, a professional writer, so his grammar's better, his storytelling is better. I mean, I guess with practice, maybe I could do a little bit better, but I wouldn't be confident to say that I'd get to his degree of... I can't think of the word right now. I don't want to say coverage, but detail, attention to detail. He's very good at that. It feels like every time I read the story time, it feels like I'm reading a novel, and I really enjoy that. The next question is from Zergalurgadurg. Hey Luka, do you think they'd ever come out with a living Necron model, like a Necron tier? I think that's where you're going with this. Like he's been alive, but in stasis, and now he's back to reclaim his empire. Like a sub-faction of the Necron tier that actually didn't take to the I can't remember. Well, the necrodermis, the living metal, the bodies. I can't remember. There's an actual term. The biotransference, I believe, is what it's called. I'm not too sure. I mean, Games Workshop could always write and be like, yeah, that's totally a thing. There was a sub-faction of Necron tier that never took to it, and they were a planet off on their own that went into stasis a long time ago because of some disease, and they've had people working on it in rotations, and they got it good, and that's like 60 million years ago. So I don't know. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. They wouldn't have reanimation protocols. They'd be so vastly different than the Necrons that they'd be their whole thing. I mean, I'm always down for new armies. That'd be kind of a cool twist, though. Would I like that? Yeah, for sure. Why not? I love the narrative for the Necrons were my biggest draw to them. So for them, it was like the narrative and then the rules and how it was represented on the tabletop for me. I'll be honest, in this edition, I'm not a huge fan of the Necron rules and how they're represented on the tabletop. I feel like since 5th edition, they've been slowly losing that feeling on the tabletop, and they just feel like they don't feel like... The only thing that feels like Necrons with them is the reanimation protocols, which is really cool, but it's not that powerful, and it's pretty easy to counterplay against, so it's a rule that you see sometimes, but it's not that great. Now, granted, it was better than it was in 7th edition. I hated the Feel No Pain. That was with the scarabs going away. They were the only thing that kept them going for me is they're still a powerful army in 7th edition, but they weren't represented as Necrons very well. I feel like 5th edition, as far back as I can remember, because I used to really enjoy the phase out rule back when they had We Will Be Back. If you got their army down to 25%, they're like, you know what, we're losing this battle. We're just gonna disappear. Our opponents automatically win, but they're not gonna get any of our tech because it's ours, not yours. That was probably my favorite. They had a lot of cool rules back then, but then 5th edition came out and they had a lot of cool rules there too, with like their Tesla, the scarabs, the Mind Shackle scarabs, the really powerful lords. Since then, they've lost a lot of that. But yeah, I could go on about that for a bit. I'm feel a little bad about that, but it is what it is. Sometimes they just ruin your stuff when they change things. Trusty Broom is the next question. Hey Luka, are you going to Adepticon this year? If so, can I buy a ton of Taco Kitty dice? I don't think we're going as a company this year. I think we're going as like our own personal time to Adepticon, to meet people, hang out, you know, see the fans and all that stuff. I'm on the fence still. I don't know if I'm going because I think I'm actually going on a vacation already around that time. So I don't know if the time's
going on a different vacation.
I think so. Because I already had it planned.
So you're gonna.
It's around the same time, so I wouldn't want to take up that because I'm already spending a lot of money on that, and the Adepticon will be out of our own pockets, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, and I get it. Just makes me laugh because a bunch of us are gonna go away to that.
Yeah.
And then if you weren't gonna go, then at least somebody would be here.
Right.
But then even if you're going away on some other vacation, then you still won't be here.
I know. I think it's as far as I know, it's you, Josh, and Steve, and Chris, I would assume.
I think Chris is going on his own, but he's still going.
Right.
And then Aaron's going.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot Aaron. Sorry, Aaron.
So it'll be Matthew, Dave, and Lee?
Who wouldn't be going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rob can be here and edit all
the not videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm still on the fence. I might go. Maybe if I can convince some of my friends to go too. Maybe. If not, I'd probably just go with however these guys are going, because I had a lot of fun last year and I'd like to go again. This time I definitely bring some 30K stuff, because that's my biggest regret from last year is I didn't bring 30K stuff.
Oh, Chris is doing a Way of the Brush presentation at Adepticon. So
that's right.
He's definitely going. He's going with that for them.
Yeah.
So.
I could bring Taco Cat dice with me if I do. So the two things I'll bring are Taco Cat dice and 30K stuff. Hopefully my Spacefuls are done by then. I feel like I'll be a little ambitious with these Spacefuls and try and get them done quick. The next question is going to be from K. Broham. Hello, Mr. The Dice. Hello. It seems like you had a slight interest in playing... Oh, actually, this one's a little long. It seems you had a slight interest in playing Blood Angels when you were doing them as a Legionary Lockdown. Do you still have an interest in picking them up and play them? I think that's where the question ends. I think
What's the timestamp on that?
I actually kind of skipped that one, so I can't tell what this timestamp is. I put it down to the box, so I can't see what the timestamp is anymore. It's around 14:12, but I think that's already long gone. So yeah, when it comes to Blood Angels, I always wanted a Loyalist chapter, something in the Imperium to play, and I had the Guard were cool, but they're pretty expensive to get into, and it's a lot of work painting those very tiny miniatures. So it was down between the Space Wolves and the Blood Angels, and I never knew, and I wasn't really committed to getting a new army yet. And then I started reading The Burning of Prospero by Dan Abnett, and I was sold. I didn't get to any Blood Angel stuff first. I'm done. It's Space Wolves all the way. Blood Angels are cool though because they're the other close combat. I love close combat armies, and I love that like reckless abandon they have where they just don't care. They just go in, kill, and whoever stands the victor, right? Like Space Wolves go in, they have one guy left, but it doesn't matter, we won, right? Sucks to be you, we're better. I love the Space Wolves, so I'm definitely going with the Space Wolves. But I don't think I have any real interest in picking up Blood Angels as well. Maybe in the future, because I did like them both quite a bit. So we'll see. Maybe a release for Blood Angels will come out in the future that just grabs my attention and I have to go with it. I'd probably go the 30K route with them too, because I really enjoy the Mark IV armor. I'd build them in Mark IV armor. Probably Mark IV armor. Yeah, I like the Blood Angels quite a bit, so I'd probably do them in a 30K as well. The next question is going to be from GeoFits again. This one is pertaining to the Deathwatch campaign. Since you threw small pylons...
He did say that he sent a long one, so okay, perfect. And so he sent it to me again.
The GeoFits one?
Yeah. Does it
I got it here. It's all good.
Oh, it all comes off? Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
In the box is fine.
But thank you, GeoFits, for being on top of that. We appreciate you.
Since you threw the small pylons at Josh during the Deathwatch campaign, and he, spoiler alert everyone, he destroyed them, can you put his team in a Corvus Blackstar and shoot him out of the sky with a bigger pylon? Well, that hasn't come up in the narrative yet, but that would be just, even if that was just a fake video that I recorded and forced him to do. I'm pretty sure Josh is watching right now, so this would spoil it. But like, oh yeah, this is totally the mission. Oh, by the way, you have to fight 3 Necron actual pylons in a Corvus Blackstar. Or sorry, a real Gauss pylon, and then like we'll say like 6 of the small ones, because we have 6 of them. And you have to make it to the end of the map, not getting shot down by these Gauss pylons. That would be fun.
That would be pretty cool.
In fact, maybe that'll be episode 9. And if he loses, well, whatever, he sucks. He wasn't good enough to actually get through it.
Get good.
Get good, Josh. The next question is, the timestamp is 1417 if I don't actually have the whole thing. I don't really have the whole thing. So it's 1417. It's by Anthony Lone 83. If you can actually go that far back. After watching some old videos, I have started work on a Grot Revolution army for 40k. My warlord is... I remember the Grot Revolution. I think that was Josh's...
That was our Necrogeddon campaign.
Exactly. That was the Armageddon Necromunda campaign, and Josh had the Grot Revolution where he had a full few Ogrins in there, but it was mostly the Grots. My warlord is Steve the Mountain, and as he has started it all, but what position would you... Oh, right, he also had the big the Grot army too, the Goblin army, the Gretchen army, where he was only... He had like 40 of them.
What was that in?
That was the same campaign.
Oh, yeah.
It
was Ogrins and Grots, right?
Yeah, but I think Steve only had... He had Orcs and Grots, is what Steve's thing was. But he went with like... He ended up going with like 30 Grots, whereas Josh went the same route, but with Ogrins instead.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, I got pretty Shrek'd in that campaign, because Matthew made me roll to hit with marker lights, even though they shouldn't have.
Right. That's right. I do remember that.
Literally, like, we did, 40 episodes, and by the time we'd filmed 30, episode 1 had come out, or the first couple had come out, and someone's like, you don't have to hit with those.
I remember that.
Oh.
I remember that.
I spent so much money on it, and it didn't do anything.
What character would I like to be in your Grot Revolution army? Can I be like the Berserk? Could you make a Berserk Grot with two axes screaming at the top of his lungs and always at the front of a unit? Because I would love to be that Grot. That's me. I want to be the Grot Sergeant, but I want to be the ridiculous one that dies all the time. Because we know he's not going to live. But I can't see the end of your question, Anthony Lone. If you want to repost it here, I've cleared it so you can put another question up. And just the end of that question, I can get to that. When it comes up, or once I see it pop up, I'll answer it, and then I'll just get to that right away.
He just posted a comment, so...
The next question is from Brandon702. What are your thoughts on the new Age of Sigmar Grots? Loving it. I'm not going to be playing them, because for whatever reason, I'm not super interested in Destruction, but Matthew will be playing them, and you'll be seeing videos of that coming out maybe at some point in the future. Actually, I don't know if he's... Yeah, I'm a huge fan of them, and you'll be seeing videos of those in the future. The Grot stuff is cool. I love the new Fanatics. I love the Fanatics. You can build them both ways. They got a lot of cool new rules, and it's just kind of like it's like what they did with the Legion of the Gashers, the different kinds of Gits, or all the goblins, and they kind of just melded them all together into one big. I can't remember what the actual battle tome was called, but you can play Forest Goblins, you can play the Night Goblins, you can play.
Isn't it Git Mob something?
I think it's Git Mob something. Actually, I think it's just those two kind of goblins. There's like trolls, troll goths, and stuff like that too. Yeah,
just more consolidation of all the books.
Right, exactly.
Matthew seems to be having fun.
Yeah, he's enjoying it, yeah. The next question is from Unpure. Did you work out how many goats you can fit on the moon? I don't think we did.
When did that even come up?
That was during the live stream for D&D this week.
That's where
we were kind of doing the pre-game show where it's like, oh, just ask us any questions. Well, we're happy to answer them. That was something. I think it was like 8 trillion? 8 billion? Not 8 trillion, that's too high.
Who has that many goats?
8 billion goats, and then we kind of got into the macabre on what it would look like once all those goats died, and they kind of just...
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't decompose because there's no bacteria, right? There's no oxygen, so it's just... Yeah, that got weird fast. But
gross. We
never actually came to a proper conclusion. We figured out how many people could fit into Texas, though, if everyone was given like a little 5-foot square, like a little 5x5, like little proximity that they can stand in. It was a lot of people. I think it was like everyone on the planet could fit in Texas if they all just kind of stood like just 5 feet apart. Texas has got a lot of land, right?
Wow, that's quite impressive.
Ooh, this next question is by Neofid. If a Soulblight Battle Tome came out, what would I include in it? Infantry vampires. Like heavily armored vampires on foot, like they use like the blood dragons they used to have in fantasy. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure, kind of like if you ever played Total War Warhammer, the Depth Guard for the Vampire Coast, they're the elite vampire infantry. I would love to just like heavy armor vampires, double axes, bloodthirsty, charging at their enemies. I would love to add that. That's the first thing I would add.
What if there was something like vampire thralls?
That was the next. I spilled water all over them. That was the next one.
Okay.
It would be vampire thrall infantry or whatever, just vampire thralls of any type.
Yep.
So the Soulblight is normally an elite army, but if they were given the option to play as a horde army, a vampire thrall horde. They would just be regular humans with some. There's different takes on vampire thralls, right? There's they're actual vampires that are enthralled by the vampire that have changed them, so they're slaves essentially. So they'd be a little bit stronger humans. They'd be faster. They'd be stronger, but they'd be completely they'd be mind control. They'd be under the control of the vampire that transformed them. Or there's vampire thralls, which are just humans that willingly serve vampires and willingly let them feed on them, and they would willingly join the army, right?
Yeah, that's more of what I was kind of thinking.
That's what I'm more familiar with as well. So I would love to see that if they could play in a horde and just have like these kind of like really pale, often like very light on the blood thralls that are on the battlefield. They'd be awful fighters probably because they'd be so lightheaded all the time, but that'd be kind of cool.
But they never run away.
Right, exactly. Oh,
I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool. I would love that. I would love to see that. Next question we have by Pro Waffles. Luka, I really liked the Legion lockdown. Is it still a thing? Yes. So the Legion lockdown was a thing formed out of almost necessity, which kind of pertains to a question that was asked earlier. How do I keep things fresh? During this time period with Kenny, we were playing a lot of 40K. Like, it was a lot of 40K. And we're like, like, what do we do today? Like, I just did that yesterday. I did that like 2 days ago. I did that 3 days ago. And then we were driving up, and he's like, "Oh, it'd be great if we just did like I was thinking like let's just start doing Chaos versus Loyalist, like Chapter versus Legion." And like, well, what do you want to play today? And then I think it was him. He probably thought of the idea is like, let's randomize it. Like, yeah, nothing says that. And I'm thinking in my head like, do we have all the chapters and legions? Yeah, I mean, if I ask some permissions here and there, then we do have all of the chapters and the legions for 40K. Like, we have all the Chaos Legion, we have all the Loyalist chapters.
Yep.
And so we just decided to start randomizing, and it was good fun. We haven't done it in a while because we haven't been doing a lot of 40K, and then like Kenny's been itching to play certain armies. Like, he's been wanting to play like Custodes and or Custodes, and he's been wanting to play. That's the only thing I can think of right now.
Right. And then one of the filming days with Kenny is also being taken up with D&D as well.
Right. Yeah. So we've had less time to actually play 40K. And the idea of doing a Legion lockdowns come up, and it was like, okay, we can do that, or we could, or you've been like, he's like, I've been looking to play this, so can we play that? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's fine. So it's been, and I've been wanting to play Death Guard because I've kind of gotten back in the groove for Death Guard, where I want to play them a little bit more competitively, a little bit stronger. So we kind of did, Legion lockdown came out of like, I don't want to say a lack of interest for 40K, but a real need to change it up. So it's always an option to play, but I apologize, it hasn't been coming out that much. I know a lot of people really enjoyed that one. So you'll see in the future. It's not forgotten. It's just we haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of 40K, is what I'm saying. Next question is Silver Draconian popped his question back up. Is it? You said you like the Space Wolves chapter. Which great company do you have? Okay. I think right now it's the 5th great company, or is it the 3rd? That's led by Augie. His name is, everyone calls him Augie. I think I'll probably either go with that one. I think maybe the 3rd belongs to Scarson. I love him, by the way. He's like my favorite Space Wolf character so far. His name is Amlodi Scarsonson. Huge fan of that name.
That is the greatest.
So I haven't actually decided what great company to kind of go with, but believe me, I've got options. I am loving all of them. So I'll go back to the next question, which was Andrew Octobeard. Hey Luka, what do you think? Which one is better, Necromunda or Kill Team? Or would you play an Age of Sigmar based skirmish game like those? If I had to be honest between the two of them, I love the rule set for Kill Team. I just don't like the idea of like the very small scale, like here's like my 5 Necrons that are fighting on their own for whatever reason, or I can see it a lot more with things like the Harlequins. I can see it things with like Space Marines. I love the idea of like a squad of Tactical Marines, or a squad of Chaos Space Marines, or a squad of Guardsmen. But when it comes to this, like, I guess it's just mostly Necrons. Because I tried it right away. I'm like, why is there just like 5 Necrons here? If they were all death marks, I could see that. But I guess I just wasn't in love with the Necron narrative of it. And right away, the Necron rules were lame. I was not a huge fan of them. So right there, my interest got cut right in half. And then my friend was playing Death Guard, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to play Death Guard. And I'm like, I'm not really interested in anything else, so I kind of scrapped it. But I love the rule set for Kill Team. It has an amazingly solid rule set, well, with all the FAQs and everything released. But yeah, Kill Team is amazing. Necromunda, I'll be honest, I had a lot more fun playing the old, like the 2nd edition, or like the original Necromunda, which is like 2nd edition Warhammer, because it had a lot of nuances in the game, but it tailored well to that light skirmish. Whereas Necromunda is more of a, current Necromunda is more akin to 8th edition 40K, where it's like a lot more simplified. But me as a wargamer, I love the really grindy, takes forever to resolve things kind of rule set. I love those because it represents everything so well, as opposed to just like, I hit on this. Whereas Necromunda was like, all right, we both roll, well, how many attacks do you have? I have 3, I have 2. All right, well, you roll 3 dice, I roll 2 dice, and then we add our weapon skills to that, and then how many 1s did you roll? That's how many fumbles you got. How many 6s? That's how many critical, like how many extra 6s did I get? It was awesome. I love, and that was just for like a one-on-one fight. It was amazing. And then you had like gang ups and all that. Oh, I think I prefer kill team. But I wish I could use like I could probably figure out like kill team rules with Necromunda gangs and like make some sort of weird kind of like combination of the two. But I think I'll lean towards kill team. I would also play an Age of Sigmar base skirmish game off one of those as well, for sure. I always lean towards the fantasy over the sci-fi, so I'd prefer Age of Sigmar over the 40k when it came to those. That's why I loved Mordheim so much. Mordheim was uber fun.
Mordheim's the best game. Just hands down. Love Mordheim.
Oh, here's a question by Rainbowed. Luka, as a Canadian, how would you describe Texas? Interesting.
Have you been to Texas?
I've never been to Texas. Have you been to Texas?
No.
How would I describe Texas? I tend to think of all of the United States of America, all of their states, like kind of small compared to like the provinces of Canada.
Oh, well, our provinces are ridiculous.
You know, like Ontario is so, like, have you seen none of it?
Well, Quebec is massive.
Quebec is huge, yeah. Quebec is like sleeper big. You never realize how big it is till you actually look at it and consider everything. And it's just like, because I think they both border Nunavut as well. Maybe, I don't know if Quebec does. I'm sure it does.
No, because remember, I think it gets cut off,
Yeah, because it gets cut off.
It's across
the lake? What was that lake called?
Hudson's Bay?
Is that Hudson Bay? I can't remember. Sorry, this is off
Hudson.
topic of Texas, but
Hudson's Bay.
I always look at the states as they're so tiny and just like ridiculous, and it's just compared to like a province.
I know. It's
for like the landmass, but Texas is deceptively big.
Texas is large looking, and I mean, if we're talking about the shape, like
the shape is kind of cool too.
So it's like someone tried to do, or like was like really refining the edges, and then
and then they just kind of gave up at the bottom. Yeah.
Like take a ruler.
Yeah, because a lot of the states are just like little neat rectangles that are all just kind of, they all fit together like a puzzle. Whereas like Texas is like, oh yeah, we got that idea. We're gonna change this one up a little bit. We're gonna go a little bit and then drag it down the edge all in Mexico. And then what would I think of Texas right away? I definitely think of tumbleweeds and all those like 1800 like little towns. The dusty roads and like you have like 5 buildings. Totally stereotypical Texas.
And I know it's like kind of more like New Mexico, but like I think of like that Breaking Bad kind of area.
Yeah. I think probably like I would assume Arizona and New Mexico kind of pertain to what not so much the 1800 towns, but like the tumbleweeds and the big deserts and all that.
Yep.
I think Texas is more populated, and I'm actually not too sure what parts of Texas and where it is geographically located to be more populated, but I just don't know much about Texas.
I don't know, but I'd be down for the food.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, are you kidding me?
And Tex-Mex. Oh
yeah, like probably a lot of good traditional Mexican food down there too. I would imagine. I would love Texan food. That's the first thing I think about is the food.
Right? I think that's the most important. Let's be honest here.
But how would I describe it? I describe it as probably like a more metropolis kind of based state where like a lot of population in Texas, I would assume. Maybe not as much as California.
No.
California and like New York, but still maybe actually.
California, New York compared to the largest city in the world.
Yeah. Actually, what is the population of Texas? I don't know. It's a big state. It's probably not as big as California's a big state too. Mechasonic 9000, do you agree with Artemis pattern hellhounds being the same price as a normal hellhound? I'm not too. I assume is the Artemis pattern hellhound a Forge World pattern hellhound? I think it is. And do you mean price as in points wise or dollar wise? I don't know either of those. I'll have Cullen look those up after he's done looking up the population of Texas.
All right, so here we go. Texas. 28.3 million people.
28.3 million?
California, 39.5.
Okay, still, there's a lot more people in Texas than I thought. There's a lot more people.
And then we got New York City, just because it's also, when I Googled it, they've got these three and they're nice line graphs, is 8.6 million.
Yeah.
But that's just the city.
The city, yeah. New York State's got a lot more. Well, obviously they have more than that, but...
wait, what is the other thing I'm looking up now?
Look up Artemis pattern hellhound for me, and then I'll get back to this question. The next
You want
question.
me to look up Artemis Fowl books?
No, not Artemis Fowl.
That's what Google was telling me. It's the Hellhound with the big tank on the back.
The mount. Well, what does it look? Does it look like Forge World? Because I'm not familiar with this one.
Oh, you want to know if it's Forge World or
Like,
or?
Because I'm asked if it's price wise or points wise. I don't know.
It is from Forge World.
Okay, what's the cost of it on Forge World?
It's 104. Is this Canadian dollars? Canadian dollars.
Jeez.
So
I'm assuming
it looks like the normal Hellhound or like the Chimera body with a big turret and like a big gas canister on the back.
Okay, I'm curious if the normal Hellhound is also $104. It's probably not. It's probably like $60. The Games Workshop one, but maybe same points wise. Sure. I mean, I would agree with that. I probably wouldn't actually think about that too much for myself. This is probably something that comes up in your play group a lot. Why don't you leave a question, Mechasonic 9000, more like, does it bother you that it's the same price?
Actually, he did throw in it's points wise. Is what he was
points wise.
wondering.
Okay, should they be the same points? Is one strictly better? Actually, I think the Forge Roll one I've heard is strictly better, but I've never actually looked as to why it's strictly better. If something is strictly better, so I will never agree on something something should not be strictly better than something else and be the same points. It shouldn't be strictly better because they're the same points. If it is better, it should be more points than something else. There should always be that. But obviously the Forge World team and the actual Games Workshop team, they rate their points differently. What I've noticed in this edition, that Forge World really ups the point cost of what they're selling in 40K. And they make it so it's not the obvious choice. Because Forge World's always had that stigma where, oh, you're bringing Forge World stuff. I don't know what that does. Oh, wow, what a surprise. It's just strictly better than all of that stuff that Games Workshop sells. Now Forge World just does really weird things with their stuff, and they cost a lot of points, and they're not necessarily strictly better. They're very expensive.
Okay, so we got a response from him. The Forge World 1's turret is 2d6. Choose the highest when it and when it dies, it's a 4 up to explode.
Okay, if it's very similar and if it's the same points, I don't agree with that. That should not be better. There should be a clear choice. There shouldn't be a clear choice, is what I'm trying to say. But sometimes it happens. The next question here is by Trusty Broom. Luka, what kind of bribe do you need to put together to get Jason in more videos? Like Jason Harris. He's pretty fun to play against. So that's one of my old high school buddies. Well, I knew him since I was friends with his cousin, and I met him through his cousin, and they were both in a Warhammer. But Jason, as they grew older, Jason just kind of kept to the Warhammer hobby, whereas Brian, who's been in, he focused more on work and other things, and he still plays every now and then, but not nearly as much. And we don't really talk about Warhammer as much as we do like real life things. But he's actually coming in on this Saturday to play some Warhammer, be it with me or with Steve. Who knows? Steve's coming in too. He'll come in every Saturday if he can. He's got 3 kids, so
yeah, definitely.
He'll come in when he can. But you got to remember, he's got 3 children, so he's got a lot of responsibility and a full-time job. So as much as you want
to see Luka dancing with his daughter, that is available.
That was right. That is still available online.
What was that for?
That was for the Shadespire Shakedown. If someone got skunked, so they would have to do a really silly video for the 3rd video if they won their previous 2 games. I ended up beating Jason twice in a row. Spoiler, but it's been out for a while, so I had to dance with Olivia, his daughter, for a while.
It's so good. Like, if you don't think it's probably one of the greatest videos I've ever seen here.
I think she's 8. No, maybe is she 6? I think she's 5 or 6. Yeah. She had a lot more energy than I did to say that. I'll leave it at that. Lavarius EL, is anyone taking over the Harlequins? Not me. I've never been a fan of the game. I love Craft World's Eldar, and I love a very specific type of Craft World's Eldar. So if I was ever to play any type of Eldar, it would be that. The Harlequins, never really too interested. They're very, they're very glass cannon. They might have a 4-up invulnerable save across the board, but a 4-up only takes you so far. They have no defenses other than that.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's really even expressed super interest in them.
Nope, they were cool last edition. They were very cool last edition when they first came out. In this edition, I think they've been glazed over a little bit. Give them maybe another chance, right? Then they'll be cooler. Like Matthew's the most famous for doing it. If he's playing as them or against them, he is so uninterested in them that he verbally says it every time he can. He doesn't hate them. He just has so much disinterest in them that he'll let you know. I have no interest in them.
I don't. They're
No.
just.
Nothing from
I'm
Josh.
not a big fan of elves in general.
Right.
Whether it be space elves or fantasy elves.
Yeah.
Never been a big fan of elves. Just in. So you'll probably never see me play anything that's elfy.
Yeah.
Because
So
that's not my thing.
no, I don't think anyone's picking up the elves anytime soon. Maybe Kenny will play them every now and then, but
Yeah, that's probably your best chance.
that's literally your best chance is when
or if someone out there is watching who plays Harlequins and wants to come in so
Go.
we can get some more content.
get more Harlequin content. But yeah, anyone here taking them over? No. Twitchy Kranos is the next question. How much longer do you think we should go because of all the technical difficulties? I should ask. What do you think?
Where's my counter that tells me how long we've been live? Because I honestly don't know. I mean, you also have a game to get back to.
We're about it. Yeah, that's true. I'm currently recording Death Watch right now with Josh. I'm just taking the time to do some sit and talk.
Go for a little. How big's your queue going?
I got 7 questions left.
Okay, well, let's give everybody 5 minutes to get any more questions into the queue. And then we'll close it up. You can answer the rest of them, and then we can call it a day, and you can get back to your game with Josh.
Gotcha. So this next question is by Twitchy Kranos. Kranos? Luka, if you could play a game against any celebrity, who and what game and why? Oh, geez, that's a good question. Oh, every now and then, like you'll see a post online or on Facebook about like, oh, this celebrity is the secret gamer. Blah, 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 these are the games they love. And I think the last one I seen yesterday was, oh, I hate that I can't remember his name, but
What was he in?
so okay, did you ever watch True Blood?
No.
Dang it.
It's like, dude.
That's the first one that comes to my mind, but he's been in other things too since then. It was an article about how much he loves D&D and like his he played the werewolf in True Blood. He's a super fit guy, super attractive looking guy.
Do you know what the character name was?
No, I can't remember.
Because I'm going on IMDb right now, looking up True Blood. Is this Stephen Moyer?
No, he's got a very Italian last name.
Sam Merletto?
No. Are you talking about character names or actual actor names?
Oh wait. His name would be Sam Trammell.
No, I can't remember.
Ryan Kawatan.
Maybe I'm getting the wrong actor
Chris
here.
Bauer.
No, maybe I'm getting the wrong actor here. Anyways, it was on D&D. He was a big D&D guy. Anyways, what celebrity would I want to play with? That's a good question.
Is it Joe
Manganiano or something like that. Yeah.
Joe Manganiano.
Yeah, Joe Manganiano. That's right. That's what it was. I seen that article last
Thank you,
night.
Rainbow. You got me on this one.
Yep.
As soon as I found it too.
It was him. It was an article about how much he enjoys D&D and like he's like really, really into D&D. Like I always find that stuff kind of cool. Kind of like brings him down to earth a little bit, if you know what I mean. You know what? I would love to play a game of anything with Sir Ian McKellen.
Oh,
That'd be so cool.
What a gem.
Or it's Sir Patrick Stewart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or anything with Sir Patrick Stewart. Any of them. Any of that. I love.
You literally gotta have just
like a game of Mario Kart or something. Whatever.
just have Professor X and Magneto in a room.
It'd be like just I don't know.
Oh, imagine them playing There's an X-Men game, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's.
Well, I guess
there's a lot.
It was the Marvel universe, like it was the Marvel game.
Marvel versus Capcom, and that's like.
But like the miniature game. Remember when Marvel?
Oh, the miniature one, yeah.
Now that doesn't exist anymore, but when because now it's been DC. But imagine that'd be so cool if you could play. Seeing like
that'd be cool.
Patrick Stewart playing as the X-Men versus
Magneto and his mutants. I can't remember what his team of mutants is called. It's kind of eating away at me.
I know, right? I was literally being like, maybe I can think of it. I couldn't get it.
There's a name for his team.
Magnaforce.
It would definitely be one of those two. And I don't know, just like Warhammer or like fantasy or something like that. Just like maybe something that doesn't actually pertain to them, but I think that'd be cool. Next question is by, actually I'll go, there's one more on the website I wanted to go and get to. This one is by Dwebby. Hi Luka, longtime viewer and new Vault member. Loving the Vault, by the way. Awesome, good to hear it. As a Death Guard player, this one's also a Death Guard. Would you like to see more of the lords mentioned in the Codex, narratively, like the Lord of Poxes and the Lord of Virulence, be put into the game either as models or just rules? So those characters are obviously brought up a lot, and Death Guard has so many elite characters already. I would love to see them have more HQs though, but I guess it gets to the point where like they had such a massive new model line release. Like, where do they stop? I guess they decided to stop there. But yeah, by all means, I would love to see more. Just more options are never a bad thing. Some people are on the line where 40K is already bloated enough, so we don't need more things. But I just love, bring it on. I don't care about like the competitive nature of the game. Just like anything new is anything cool for me.
Queue closing in 2 minutes.
All right. Also, would you like to have the World Eater / Emperor's Children given the same treatment as Death Guard and Thousand Sons by giving them their own line of models / codex? Keep up with the great content. I will. At least I'll try to. Thank you. I almost guarantee that they're gonna get that. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but they're gonna do that to keep them up with obviously the 4 Loyalist chapters that have their own. That being, well, maybe I'm wrong. So we have Dark Angels, we have Space Wolves, Blood Angels. And I think like it's like I guess Ultramarines aren't their own, but they're like part of Codex. Is there another one? Am I missing? Am I being a fool right now? Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and the rest are in the Space Marine Codex, right? Can you think of any? There should be is there a 4th one, or is like you can pretty much call the Ultramarine or the Space Marine Codex Ultramarines?
I think those are the.
Because Gilliman's in it, so I kind of consider that the Ultramarines Codex. And here's ways you can play other chapters that aren't really that important in the narrative right now.
I think so.
I think so.
Grey Knights?
They're not a chapter though.
I don't know. That's about as. That's all I got.
There's Grey Knights and Death Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I would be surprised if they didn't do it. I fully expect to see Emperor's Children and World Eaters. Not to mention World Eaters because in 7th edition, near the tail end of it, they came up with the Khorne Demonkin army. Where's that right now?
Yeah, like, that is super interesting. I feel bad for anybody who built an army.
Well, I know a couple of people. Yeah.
And now you kind of don't. I mean, I guess you can still play it, but it's not like what it is,
right?
Or any of the demon stuff, right? Is because there's the Marine, there's the Chaos Marine book, but is there a Chaos Demon?
Yeah, there's
book?
a Chaos Demon book, but the Chaos Demon book is very much like all the other demon codexes that came out in the past. They're like, like there's been strong demon codexes in the past, but they try and shove 4 armies into one codex, and they lose a lot of their fluff or a lot of their oomph because of it.
Yep.
At least I find. But yeah, I would fully expect to see both of those codexes come out in the future with their respective Primarchs. I don't know when. It could be years. It could be at the end of 8th edition, but I would expect that 100%. All right, Zergalurgadurg. So Luka, you have all the power and you get to make a brand new army for 40k. What would it be and why? Brand new? Oh, I could sit on that question forever. I have all the power and I make a brand new army. Why does that have to be brand new? Ugh. It would definitely be... Oh, man. I would love to see a proper Renegades and Heretics army. I know there's Renegades and Heretics rules now, but I want, like, the Imperium have the Astra Militarum. I want to see Renegades and Heretics. And I want to see it vastly different, too. I do not want to see Imperial Guard copy-pasted Renegades and Heretics. I want to see Renegades and Heretics. I want to see Ravening Lunatics. I want to see Discourse. I want to see Disorder. I want to see Chaos on the battlefield. I want to see just, like, I would love to see an army in the game, actually, that maybe only sometimes does what you tell it to do. Do you know what I mean? I want to say Tyranids, for example. So playing Tyranids in previous editions of the game, if you had no synapse, you almost had no control over what they did. They would roll leadership, I believe, and if they failed, there would be, based on what they were, they would prowl, they would hunt, they would cower. I want to see an army like that, but obviously not like to your detriment. I want to see an army you can't really control. Something almost like the Skaven are a good example in fantasy as well, because he would try and do something, but it might just backfire and something awful would happen to you. I don't want something awful happen to your army, but I want to see them do something else that might be beneficial too. It wouldn't be a competitive army in any way, but it'd be fun. I think that would be, I would play that in a heartbeat. I would buy that army, I think. That would be a huge sell for me. I love anything random and chaotic. And obviously, if it doesn't do what you tell it to do, it could do something even bigger or something else even better. Like, oh, this squad will never be able to go kill that, so I'm going to go kill this instead. Oh, surprise, they became superpowered, now they're going to go kill that squad.
Yeah, the one big thing is I would wonder how that would even work.
I have no idea.
Because of like the removal of most of the charts and that kind of stuff. Because what you're kind of describing sounds
Like an older edition thing, for sure.
Well, like it sounds like something where you'd have to reference a chart or two,
right?
Which seems like they've cut all the charts out.
Yeah, and I think in 8th edition, like if they were to bring something like that out in 8th edition, it'd be very simplified, and it wouldn't be anything like I would want. It would be like, I want it to be something like, oh, you have to roll leadership before you activate them, and then depending on how much you fail your leadership, you reference this kind of chart. It'd be a lot of really grindy things, and it would take forever to play, but I would love that.
All right, I think we are going to close up the queue, and then you can finish it off. And
Boop. All right, so I do have like 10 questions now.
Okay.
So I'll get through all of those. I'll try and do them a little bit quicker just so you guys can get back to your day, obviously, and then I'll go back to my game. This one is another one by Anthony Lone. I believe this is the one that pertained to the Grot Revolution. I have 270 grots. I have war bosses being made out of centurions and building custom mechs with grots on stilts. Amazing. That's beautiful. 270 grots. That's a lot. I would love to be the Berserk grot. I want to be that grot. Maybe have like some, I don't know. I don't know what else he'd add to him, but you could do some beautiful things with my grot, please. Primaris Marines. Just saw your Dead Zone battle report. Looks like a great game. What do you think of it? It's been a while since I played that. That was months ago. I enjoyed it. It was a cool little board game, and I had a lot of fun with it. Oh, well, actually, I think I did 2 things that kind of sound familiar. So I'm going to quickly Google Dead Zone because I don't want to look silly. Because I'm thinking of a different game now that you think about it.
Ooh, 100 bits from
thank you.
Khalifa198. Thank you so much, Khalifa198. You are now our I guess, third.
Yeah. Okay, this is what I'm thinking.
Bronze badge cheer person? Sure.
So I was thinking of a board game I was playing called something very similar to Dead Zone, but Dead Zone is the Mantic skirmish game that came out.
I was going to say, yeah, Mantic does Dead Zone.
I played that one. I believe that was with Quirk. It was a sci-fi skirmish game, and the beautiful thing, the one mechanic, I'm stuttering over my words, the one mechanic I love from Mantic is the exploding dice mechanic. I love that mechanic, because again, it's that random nature you can never account for, and all of a sudden you're one guy with a basic little puny poo gun is going to kill the other guy's leader because he rolled 18 sixes, and well, you got shot in the head. What are you going to do about that? That was super fun. I had a lot of fun playing that, and that game was so easy to pick up. I think we were able to get in that game right away, and it was almost no problem to pick up all the rules. Well, to be fair, I guess we play a lot of war games, but they came natural to us. And even for someone inexperienced, that would be an amazing game, very easy to pick up. I had a lot of fun with that one. Next question here. Rainbowed. Luka, is it a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake? No, it is not.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Cake is... Oh man, cake craft is a serious thing. Cake craft is not easy.
I love making cakes.
But I guess it all depends. Like, pretty is subjective.
Pretty is subjective, and not to mention that I think a lot of the quote-unquote pretty cakes that you see on TV are all covered in fondant.
Yes.
Which is gross and doesn't taste good. So I think a lot of people spend a lot of money on these cakes that, even though the cake might be good underneath, it's covered in something that doesn't taste very nicely.
I had
so I'm kind of disappointed by like how all those big massive cake kind of shows have kind of like impacted our
cake shows. Do you watch a lot of cake shows?
Maybe. I like Food Network, man.
I've never watched a cake show.
You've never seen Ace of Cakes?
No, I've not seen
Back
Ace
in the
of
day,
Cakes.
You got Cake Boss.
Never seen Cake Boss.
What about all the cake challenge? Like,
no.
Like the holiday baking competitions? I was crushing some of those this holiday. Great Holiday Bake Off.
That's just gonna make me feel
British
bad, man.
Bake
All I
Off.
want. Are you kidding me? I know how much I love sweets.
Look
at me.
I like how it just suddenly becomes, how many cake shows does Cullen watch? And then I run down the list and go, oh boy, that's a lot.
I'm surprised you've watched more than one. I'm surprised there's more than one.
I watched several. I'm a big fan of Food Network.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fine.
So,
I mean, not any more judgment than that. But I mean,
I
would watch them too. I know I'd watch them if I started watching them.
But cakes are hard to make. But again, I think the public perception of cakes covered in fondant is not good.
It's like it could be like a nice 4-layer cake, but it's literally just like this really expensive chocolate fondant right over top of it.
Well, no, it's not chocolate. No, it's not fondue. It's fondant. It's a type of icing.
Oh, I remember using that at Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Where it's like almost like gum paste.
Right. It is. Yeah.
And it kind of goes over.
You have to warm it up and yeah. I know what you mean.
It's just...
I had a beautiful, so it was my sister's birthday, and we went out and bought her, it was like a $75 cake. It was pretty expensive for a birthday cake. And it was so good. It was covered in actual chocolate, melted chocolate all around it, and it was dark cherry chocolate. And it was amazing. It was a dark cherry chocolate cake is what the theme of the cake was.
Oh geez, we've got a bits war. We got GeoFits and Khalifa going at it.
Khalifa!
Because he, after throwing his 100 bits, he moved up to the silver tier of the cheers there, and then GeoFits responded with another 100, putting him back up, and now he's gold. And then Khalifa threw in another 2, and GeoFits threw another 100. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
And another 100 from Khalifa. Wow.
May there be a winner. It is not easy to bake a pretty cake, at least to my standard. Next question is from Unpure. Luka,
another 100 bits.
What is a bit once? Like, what is a bit?
A bit is 1 cent.
Okay.
On our end, at least.
Right. So it's okay. So 100 is $1. Well, thank you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic.
Cool. Do you ever get angry, Luka? You always seem a gentle giant. I wouldn't say I'm giant. You call me fat.
That's kind of rude.
Wow, way to be rude. I'm kidding, Unpure. I'm kidding. I don't think you take that. Compared to everyone here, is another 100.
Another 100 bits.
Someone's gonna win.
Khalifa. What? Oh, and then whoa, craddly little boy. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 bits.
Nice.
Wow.
Jeez.
This is...
Let it rain bits upon Luka. Bring on the bits. Bring on the bits, people. Bring on the bits. But no, back to the... would you consider me a giant? Everyone I work with, other than Cullen, is taller than I am by a margin. Like Steve is 6 foot, what, 4? 6'3"? Or is he taller?
Yeah, he's 6'4", 3-ish.
Yeah. And like Matt's the same. Matt's like maybe an inch shorter than Steve. And
yeah, he's pretty close.
Dave is taller than me. Josh is taller than me. Quirk was taller than me. Chris is taller than me. Aaron is taller than me. It is what it is.
GeoFits with another 100 bits just tossed in there. You guys are nuts.
But
for the dice, he says.
For the dice. For the dice. Do I ever get angry? No. Maybe. I get angry at video games. I get salty at video games too. I get more like a headache from video games. I don't get verbally angry or physically angry, I guess.
1,000 bits from K. Broham.
Wow. Someone's just putting their foot down.
Right?
Thank you for the one. I guess he heard me say.
He just dropped the mic.
Let it rain bits, and he answered.
Another 1,000 from Rainbone. What is going on?
Okay, guys.
They don't want Luka to get back to his game.
Is that what you want? Do you want me to just live stream for like the next, I don't know, 2 hours? I could do this forever. I love this stuff. This is like, I was looking forward to this all day. I love doing this kind of thing. Do I ever get angry? I don't think I do. Oh, no, I definitely do. But I do a pretty good job of, it's realistically, if you get angry, you usually get angry at something. I always try my best not to get angry at someone. Even if it was their fault, I've always had this good sense and good gift of hyper-rationalism. And I can understand why they did something. Was it a mistake? Well, probably. Should I get angry at them for it? No. Forgiveness. That kind of thing. Do I get angry at games? All the time. I cannot stand it when my dice betray me. I cannot stand that. That drives me insane. So every now and then, if you're watching a battle report with me and I'm getting diced again with my own dice, my tone changes and I start getting, maybe not so much myself.
Oh wow, Rainbone just threw in the 1 bit to put him on top. What a
One
guy!
bit? He threw 1 bit in.
Yep. So now because they were tied for cheers up there, so he threw in the 1 bit.
The one little kind of bit that just.
Yeah, because now it's 1,001 or 1,001.
All right, nice. Kafinas. This is another question. This is a 2-in-1. Who's next on Sit and Talk, and what episode are you recording? Oh, for Death Watch. I'm recording episode 7 for Death Watch. Yeah, I'm recording episode 7 for Death Watch. And Matthew is next week. And again, if you're watching this, not live, but on YouTube later on because you didn't have time, leave a question for him on MiniWarGaming on this video down below, and he'll get to those questions there. I'm recording episode 7, though. Next question. I got 5 left. Actually 6 because it counts 0. K. Broham. Luka, what video games are you currently playing? And is there any coming out you're looking forward to? Oh, jeez, why do you have to ask this question? All right, what am I currently playing? I'm playing a lot of Civilization 5 with my friends, and I'm playing a lot of Destiny 2 Forsaken right now. Just because I tend to play what my friends play. If I had to play solo, if I had to play something solo right now, I would just do another run through of The Witcher 3. Are there any games coming out that I'm looking forward to? Yes. Mount and Blade 2. Cyberpunk 2077. Oh crap, I'm sure there's another one. I just can't think of it right now. What are you looking forward to? More Total War expansion.
I was going to say, when Total War 3 comes out...
Oh, 100% that one, for sure.
I can't wait for the ogres and just to see what they're going to do with that and the demons.
It'd be weird to balance that because that's all monstrous infantry, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then again with the demons, and I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of phase mechanic.
That would be so cool. Demons?
So
like
that's going to be... And just again...
Have they talked about number 3 at all recently?
No. I think they're going back to doing another historical one.
Yeah.
Before they do the Total War 3.
Yeah. I've always been a huge
3?
fan of... I've been playing Total War since... Actually, I should say, I'm currently also playing Total War 2, but my campaign's been put on hold because I've been playing a lot of Civ. I tend to only like to really focus on one 4X game at a time. Like, too many of them kind of like, it makes me lose interest.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of... I just recently, on the break, was playing some Skyrim. So I'm deep into Skyrim right now because I never actually finished the full Skyrim, story.
I've only ever finished... I've finished it twice, but I've had like 100 playthroughs where I play for 25 hours. I'm like, I'm okay with done with this character. Then I'll stop for 3 months and I'll do it again. And
exactly. Yep.
Skyrim and Oblivion were those games I always used to go back to. I haven't gone back to Oblivion in a while. I think I almost prefer... I like the story of... I like the missions in Oblivion a lot more because it wasn't a lot of like, oh no, my daughter's missing. She's in that Draugr cave. Or... oh, no, a robber stole everything from our house. You have to go hunt him down. He was last seen in that Draugr cave. There's a lot of that in Skyrim.
Literally, the amount of times I just go through sneaking with a bow, and then you just see a Draugr still laying before they've animated.
Boom! Love that.
It
makes the sound. Oh, the sound is so aesthetically pleasing.
Oh man, I'm still missing some of the bits wars here. Khalifa threw in another 1,000 bits, and then Rainbone... Oh, because just threw in another $4.99 just to put them over to the top.
It's more financially productive for me to sit here and just let the bits rain down upon me, and then I'll just forgo my game. Oh man, yeah. What games am I currently playing? You know. Next question is by Don Cernet. Luka, do you use Doom size on in my Necron army, or what are your high strength choices for your games? I don't use Doom Scythes because, well, for a while, they did not ignore... They were a heavy weapon, and they just hit on 4s, and that was awful. That was not great. And then the Saw Tech came out, and then, okay, they ignore moving and firing their heavy Doom Scythes. But I played without Doom Scythes for so long that I just... Not to mention that flyers aren't nearly as durable as they used to be in 7th edition, where they were only hit on 6s. So I tend to shy away from flyers in general because they can get easily shot out of the sky, especially with all the new armies that are having rules that let them ignore modifiers. Like the Space Wolves can ignore modifiers when they shoot. Imperial Knights can ignore modifiers when they shoot. So it's kind of scary. I tend to bring... If I was to bring something high strength, if I was to try and play my Necrons up and I was going to bring high strength things, I don't think Doomsday Arcs are super worth it, but they do have a lot of damage potential. At D6 shots, at strength 10, at D6 damage. They can do a lot. But the good answer is just destroyers. They're strength 6, D3 damage each, 3 shots each, -3 AP. You just extermination protocols. They'll kill most anything, or at least do so much damage to something that it'll be hard for it to recover. Destroyers are the usual go-to answer for Necrons if you're looking for hard-hitting units. But Doomsday Arc is your next best thing. My next question is from Niet Grapping 101.
We got another 100 bits from Khalifa, and then Rainbone with the hand appearing to bring the smackdown with another 500 bits.
So who's on top then?
Rainbone at 2,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you, Rainbone.
Wow. You guys are just getting out of hand. This is fantastic.
This question is, what models do you think need better rules in 40k by Niet Grapping 101? Oh, geez. There's so many, I could go on about almost the entire Necron line. They lost so much since the last. They've lost so many things in the last 2 editions of the game. So just Necron line. Destroyers are fine. The whole Necron line needs something though. So I'll just go bam. That's easy, done there. Grey Knights lost so much in this new edition. They all used to have force weapons. They were amazing at killing monstrous creatures and characters because everything with a force weapon used to know the psychic power force. It was one warp charge. If you got it off, all your attacks were instant death. So they all walked around with their basic troops all had instant death weapons at almost no cost. And they lost a lot, a ton. They also had instant death range weapons too. They had like they had force guns. They lost so much. So they across the board need better rules as well. Grey Knights are just so lacking. I don't even know what I would do for them. Like, because there's no instant death mechanic in the game. It wouldn't fit into the game in its current concept. You can't just have a single strike guy go up to a Tyranid Hive Tyrant and kill it in one hit. That would just annoy a lot of people, but that's what they used to do. They used to do that exact thing. They'd walk up, wounded on a 6, no save, you're dead, take it off the table. And that was fine. That was all part of the game, and I miss that so much. Grey Knights need a better rule set across the board. There are a lot of, but I guess you asked for models. If I had to choose one model, what needs a rules update in general? I think Abaddon the Despoiler. Dracnian is narratively a very powerful demon, and he's not well represented by that on his sword in the tabletop. He used to be so much better last edition, though you paid the points cost for Abaddon as well. I think he needs better rules and a new model, naturally. I'd be happy with that. I would love to see an Abaddon rework where his sword is a little bit closer to the power of the Emperor's sword. And you might think that's ridiculous, but I mean, that's not that ridiculous when you think about it. The power of it, what it used to do, and what it does narratively. And yeah, newer rules for him too, and a new model. I would say that. Not to mention, Abaddon's one of my favorite characters. He was also one of my main draws for 40k when I was younger. Vern Gear, hello. I am thinking about getting into Age of Sigmar, and I was wondering what army would you recommend to start with and why? Thank you. I tend to find the Destruction armies, followed by the Order armies, followed by the Chaos armies, followed by the Death armies are the easiest to get into. So if you want an easy army to get into, you look no further than the Iron Jaws, because they are literally go hard, go fast, smash hard, right? That's what they want to do. The Gits, I actually don't know too much about the Gits. As per rule in easy-wise. The Stormcast Eternals are also pretty easy to learn how to play. I'm trying to think of the core. Like Chaos tend to have, Chaos Strength comes in their synergy with their other models. So it's hard to kind of pick up on them when you have to remember all the little minor rules that make the Chaos armies better as a whole. Whereas things in Destruction and Order tend to be really good on their own. Order tends to work more on its own. Like Stormcast Eternals tend to work well individually as units. There is some synergy, but not as much when it comes to Chaos. Iron Jaws have a lot of synergy when it comes to their support characters and their mega bosses when they WoW. I would want to say Stormcast Eternals are probably the easiest army to remember because there's just a lot of minor rules on them, not a whole lot of synergistic rules. But I would need more information. Do you like? I would say go with whatever catches your eye first. Get into that army, you research it, look online to see how they play. Don't play degenerate lists unless you have to, unless your play group says you have to, that by them also playing degenerate lists that are only played at a very higher level. That's your best bet. Whatever catches your eye, look into that army, look at the rules, and if that doesn't interest you, look at the next one. But I think Stormcast Eternals are probably the easiest to learn. Lavarius L, I got 2 questions left. Can you stare at Cullen awkwardly? I guess so. Hey.
I guess we're just gonna have a staring contest, but you can't see. Nobody can see me, so
right,
they wouldn't even know if I blinked first. So
I don't. I also have shining bright lights at me.
Yeah,
this whole
I guess
time.
I have the advantage here. I'm on the underside.
You don't have the blinding lights all around you. I'm also bad at staring contests.
So am I.
Oh man, I'm gonna get this.
I'm enjoying the eye light in your eyes. So. Who's backing down? My eyes are getting itchy. Your eyes are getting red.
I know. I also can never back down from a dare. I think I've grown used to the white lights.
I think I'm gonna cry.
This is beautiful.
Oh no!
No, I won! Oh, that wasn't an awkward stare. It was more of a staring competition. But I did it for you, Lavarius. I did it for you.
My eyes hurt.
All right. So this is the last question I have. Oh, perfect. GeoFits. If someone offered you a Titan with the stipulation that you owned it for free, you had to paint it good enough for MiniWarGaming videos in a month, could you do it? Oh, geez. Oh, Titans are, they're so big, you could probably just airbrush that whole bad boy, couldn't you?
Oh, a Titan like that?
Like a Warlord Titan or something? Like even a Warhound.
Oh,
You could probably...
You're a maniac if you're painting it with a brush.
Yeah, I'd airbrush that whole bad boy. And like how long do you think it would take you if you had nothing to do and you had to paint this Warlord Titan? How long do you think it would take you? We'll just say Warlord Titan. You know how big a Warlord is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like, because like you can paint the inside of it too, right?
Yep.
Hey, if I had to paint the inside too.
Well, you don't have to paint the inside.
I mean, let me Google.
You just have to paint it good enough for MiniWarGaming videos. And you'll be surprised, guys, because a lot of, to be honest, a lot of our models are painted very quickly to look good enough on camera. There's a trick to that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I think assembling it would take longer.
Oh, okay. Assuming, yeah, but it says you paint it. So if you think you could assemble it and paint that in a month?
Oh, for sure. Honestly, I think I could paint it in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, because a lot of you could like even air can a lot of that because it's like the body you build it on, you keep the plates off. You like spray can the whole thing, and then you airbrush the plates, and then you put the paints on. Then you pick out a few details here and there where you have to, like the splits in between. You know how it would be like white and black.
Yeah, I think maybe 3 days was being a little bit aggressive. Maybe I could paint it in a week, I think.
Yeah, I think that thing wouldn't be as bad to paint, but would you do it? If someone offered you one for free, but you had to build it and paint it, would you?
Yes.
Because that thing's like...
For sure. Are you serious? For sure.
Yeah. Oh, I think that is an obvious for sure for me as well.
That is literally the agreement I entered when I've got both of my fantasy armies. So.
You're not wrong, actually. So Steve had an unpainted Empire and an unpainted Skaven army. He's like, I am never getting to these. I don't know when I'm going to get to these. Here, how about this, Cullen? I will give you these for free if you paint them. And you can have them. But you have to have them painted so you can play fantasy with me. I think that was the stipulation, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
So that is an agreement I've already taken on other occasions, and I believe this would be no different.
I would take that too. Are you kidding me? I would take anything for free if the stipulation was I had to have it painted pretty quickly to play with right away. Jeez.
There's somebody in chat saying still waiting on the Skaven. In terms of AOS, when a new thing comes out, I'm gonna repaint. Or I'm gonna paint a whole new Skaven army.
Yep.
So,
because you can expect there's just gonna be new models. They probably won't use, what was the Island of Blood?
Yep.
That they're probably not gonna use the Island of Blood rats.
I mean, I hope they do because I have a shoebox full of them. So I am still hoping.
I
that
see what your
do.
plan is. You want to paint your old unpainted Skaven.
Oh yeah. Like I'll buy a bunch of new stuff, but I still have a shoebox full of clan rats, a full Doom wheel, and a full bell.
I would 100% expect the Doom wheel to come back with really cool rules. The bell for sure. Are you just you're gonna reuse your artillery, right? Because you don't really have to base that.
The artillery?
Yeah, like your warp lightning cannons.
One of them doesn't have a base.
Yeah, the plague claw doesn't have a base.
But I don't know. I honestly like because a lot of that is also like that's my first stuff. So
they look okay.
I think I've gotten significantly better in painting since then.
So you'd rather just paint new ones?
Yeah, and I mean because I could do the same thing with my bell, but that whole screaming bell was painted when I still was in a sling. When I had broken my shoulder.
Actually?
So it was all painted with like a crippled arm.
Was it your offhand?
No, it's actually my painting hand. So I would hold it in my good hand and just bring it really close to my body. That's how I painted a whole screaming bell.
Jeez, how long did that take?
In a night.
Oh wow! Well, you had nothing else to do, right?
Yeah, because I was playing Steve the next day, so I got the whole thing built and assembled and painted in one day.
Jeez.
In probably 8 hours.
I bet it didn't do so well its first game, did it?
Oh no. The only thing is I will say that the Grey Seer wasn't fully painted, but he was painted enough for camera.
Right. Again, it comes down to the whole if it's a minor detail, you might be able to skip it. It's a lot because if you were to look at a lot of a lot of my Death Guard models, they're pretty rough. They've got everything painted, but they were quickly painted because I started losing patience with the Death Guard. They had too many details, so I quickly started just dabbing the white over all the metal. So if you look at it, it's like, wow, it's really messy, but I mean, it looks fine enough for camera. That's it. That's all the questions I've got, folks.
Okay, so if that's all the questions, then I guess we should wrap up. You can do outro, and we'll let you get back to your game.
Yep, it's about time I get back to my game, everyone. This was a blast. Like I said, I look forward to this all day. But
I believe this stream was sponsored by Rainboned Khalifa 1908. K Broham was in there, and Geofits. You guys
are awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you for the showering of bits. I feel rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated.
I loved it. But yeah, next week again it is Matthew. He'll be at the same time. It'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you didn't know that. And if you can't catch it live, then all you have to do is it'll be on YouTube. Is the 2 days after?
This will be put out on Saturday. I believe.
Yeah, 2 days after. So it'll be out on YouTube 2 days after, where you can ask Matthew questions on this video on MiniWarGaming.com, and that's where he'll see them. But other than that, though, thank you everyone for sticking around and watching. Thank you all of you for the subs, and thank you obviously to the sponsors with all of their bits. I love you all. I appreciate you all, and without you, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you live for a very amount of time.
Sit here and ramble on from a corner that I'm sitting in with
Exactly. This is comfortable. This is fun, and I just like answering questions, I guess. Happy wargaming, everybody.